Hello, I'm Brian Mckeon, partner at the JMB FLP. And today we'll be reviewing the following CNBC shows: Fast Money, Mad Money, and Options Action for the week of April the 27th to May 1st, 2009. Now again, I'd like to remind you this is merely a review of the following shows: Fast Money, Mad Money, and Options Action, and only looks at the upside placed in these shows, not the underlying options used in these calls. And ETFs may be used in place of indexes and/or commodities. Now, what we merely do is get an average analyst ranking through these free websites. Now, first we have Guy Adami from Fast Money. He has Chevron, IBM, Johnson & Johnson, BHI, and DBC, which is a commodities ETF. All these stocks come in as a moderate buy for this week. Next, you can see all of Guy Adami's upside plays that rate a hold for this week, and all the Guy Adami's upside plays that rate a sell for this week. Next, we had Howard Dean make an appearance on the show, and you can see that none of his plays made it into the buy camp this week. As for Karen Feinerman, she has FLS, Johnson & Johnson, American Express, APC, and Cisco all come in as moderate buys for this week. Also, here's a look at her holds for the week, and all the ones that she had that rate a sell for this week. Again, we have GRCM come in with no analyst coverage at this time. Now on to Dennis Gartman. You can see that none of Dennis Gartman's plays made it into the buy camp this week, but he had two ETFs which currently have no analyst rating at this time. As for Jeff Mackey, he has IBM, which come in as a moderate buy. Of course, you can see his stocks which he chose to move to the upside, which rate a hold and rate a sell by those free websites. Now we move on to Michael Morris. You can see of all of his upside plays for the week, none of them make it into the buy camp. As for Pete Najarian, he has Chevron, IBM, Exxon, and Monsanto all come in as moderate buys for the week. Also, here's a look at stocks he chose to move higher, which rate a hold, and all the ones that rate a sell. As for Timothy Seymour, he had RIG, Chevron, PBR, Exxon, American Express, BHI, and TS all come in as moderate buys for this week. Also, here's a look at the ones that made it into the hold camp, and all his upside plays that rate a sell. As for Joe Terranova, he had DBC, which is a commodities ETF, and that comes in as moderate buy. See also the rest of his plays he made for this week. There are also some guest appearances, Jonathan Ashcroft and a Steve Cordes. You can see that none of their plays made it into the buy camp this week. It's also Jim Danley and Alex Goldfarb. None of their plays made it into the buy camp this week. Now, Mike Huckman and Mark McKeon were on the shows, and you can see none of their stuff made it into the buy camp. As for Richard Repetto and Lucas Rosen, you can see that Lucas had DBC, which is commodities ETF, come in as moderate buy. Also see that he had FLM and JJC, which are ETFs which have no analyst ranking at this time. Now, Whitney Tilson and Jeff Tomasello, you can see that Jeff had Procter & Gamble, which made it into the buy camp with a rating of moderate buy. Now, there was also David Tyrone and Maynard Yum. You can see that none of their plays made it into the buy camp this week. Now on to the show Mad Money with Jim Cramer. All his upside plays that he chose to move higher for this week, we have Gold, Hewlett-Packard, CNI, Cisco, GLW, KMP, NSC, and Schlumberger all come in as moderate buys for this week. Of course, you can see all of his upside plays for the week, which rate a hold, and all of those stocks that Cramer chose to move higher that rate a sell by those free websites. Also, he has two others, an MXIB and a THN, which have no analyst ratings at this time. Now for the show, Options Action. While they did have some plays, they were only option calls to protect current positions. They had no upside plays for this week for regular stock investors. So, in review, of all the plays for this week. They all rank in moderate buy. We had Ray, Gold, Chevron, FLS, Hewlett Packard, IBM, Johnson & Johnson, PBR, Exxon, American Express, APC, BHI, CNI, Cisco, Commodities, GLW, KMP, Monsanto, NSC, Procter & Gamble, Schlumberger, and TS. All come in as moderate buys. You can see that no stocks made it into the strong buy this week. So again, I'd like to remind you that all analyst recommendations are as of May 1st, 2009. And, disclaimer, I am not a licensed investment advisor, and the investments I am showing you today are what I'm doing for my friends and family's accounts. Also, I am not affiliated with CNBC or any of its affiliates, and or any of the websites used to determine these rankings. Also, I currently own shares of Berkshire Hathaway, Chevron, the Commodities ETF, IBM, JP Morgan Chase, Morgan Stanley, S&P 500, and XLF Financial ETFs. So again, this is Brian Mckeon from the JMB FLP saying thank you and see you next time.